What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tsunami Speaks with your host, Tsunami Jones. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, run, tell a friend, all that good jazz. If you haven't already, that's the way we'll grow this channel going forward. Again, I'm trying to solicit your guys' help just a bit to grow this channel and help win this little competition I have with Jarrell on his pod, Die Hard Giants Live. So shout out to the homie, but again, need your guys' help to help keep growing this channel going forward. That said, this is going to be a Knicks edition of the Tsunami Speaks show. I wanted to get one more in before training camp completely ends and the preseason starts next week. So felt it would be like a good opportunity to kind of recap what we've seen so far this week, some of the storylines, some of the headlines as well that we've seen from Thibs and the players. Overall, I already said in the last video that I was really pumped and mostly just mentioning all the good young players that the Knicks have and just their ceilings and just what I expect from them and things of that nature. So, again, my vibes are already high coming into training camp. After seeing everything so far this week, they're a little even higher, so to speak. Knicks content day was really positive and just generally happy. All the players seemed really excited to be there. I know that stuff's kind of corny to some people, but hey, I'm a fan. I want to see the players look excited. I want to see them look happy. I want to see them come in to camp in shape. Sorry, that's just kind of how I look at it. Julius Randle, I know that he might be public enemy number one for a lot of fans. Hell, he's not on my highest list either. I'm with you guys on that. But I love that he came into camp in fantastic shape. We saw that in the off season and a few times, like we saw him in summer league looking like he was pretty svelte, but you got to see, the entire body, so to speak. Um, and then after hearing him speak, his spirits are really high. He's positive. You can just tell he was smiling a ton. The dude looks just generally happy. We didn't see a lot of that last year. Again, the crap hasn't hit the fan yet. The adversity hasn't been reached yet. I get all of that, but it's just good to see him come into camp this way. And I'm extremely encouraged kind of after hearing him say the things that he said. um, Again, we'll see what ends up happening, but I wanted to just say that I'm moderately excited about Julius Randle. I never thought I'd be saying that. So, um, I will say this isn't one of the storylines that I kind of highlighted, but I do think not Julius, Jalen Brunson has rubbed off on him. If you've seen some of the outtakes and some of the videos and just general vibes from the pictures that they took when they did their big three picture, they already seem buddy buddy. And I mean, we just signed him a couple of months ago. So kind of seeing that already that camaraderie, that kinship coming into it, it's really encouraging as well. Um, the mental isn't all that's wrong. I won't say wrong. It isn't all that's to be concerned about with Julius, but it was a large part of the concern last year. Play was one thing, the mental was another. So I'm excited. Can't help it. One of the quotes that I had from Tibbs that I wanted to highlight is, so we want to see him score a lot of different ways. So not just with the ball, but moving without the ball, running the floor, cutting, that sort of thing. I think that's one of his strengths, his speed, his athleticism. If we can get him into those positions, I think we can get some easy baskets where he doesn't have to work as hard as he did last year. I love this quote from Tibbs. And it's interesting because he's right. We didn't see him cut very much at all. Basically, it was give me the ball and I'm going to dribble it 8 times, and then I may pass at the last second. I may not pass. I might just throw up a really ugly looking jumper with one leg. So we saw a lot of. We did see passing on occasion, so I won't like completely disparage his game. It wasn't bad all the time. By no means. We saw a few good games. One game that comes to mind is how he played in Dallas. He did seemingly play better away from home. But anyway, I'm ranting. What I'm saying is seeing that we're going to try and get him the ball as a finisher is really encouraging. That means he's not going to have the ball all the time. He's going to be making those extra moves. This may be one of the reasons why the coach had him come into shape and require that he does come into shape, um, the best shape of his life, or at least that 2020 shape. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I'm kind of excited to see him run the floor, cut, and do all that. Basically, some of the Obi stuff, right? Um, I mean, I can't imagine it. So I'm very eager to see that going into preseason next week. I hope we get some glimpses of that. But this is good that Tibbs has at least instilled that in him. I don't have the quote in front of me, but you heard Julius parrot that, saying that he was excited to have to be on the receiving end of those passes from Jalen and not having to initiate the offense and having that burden on him. So hearing that from the horse's mouth and then hearing the coach parrot it, these are all good things that we need to see if in order to get the best from Randall that we can. If he's gonna be here, I want him to ball out. That's it. Um, Next quote was Tom Thibodeau said that Evan Fournier is the front runner to start at shooting guard as the starting two for camp. One of the quotes was, one thing I know with Jalen and RJ and Julius, we have to put shooting around them. To Tibbs's point, he was one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA last year. He broke the 3-point record. Um, I won't get too excited about that record just because I think the Knicks haven't had a lot of great shooters over the years. To beat Allen Houston's record, I mean, Houston played a long time ago for us. That said, though, it was still very much a need, and Tibbs is not wrong in that aspect. But I do think Grimes can be a great shooter. The form on his bat, the form on his jumper, all of that, and he was shooting the ball really well prior to that injury that he had with his knee. So there's that. But I will say, and I said this on Dope Soul Sports Talk, another great show. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, please subscribe to them and then come back here and finish the video because all the credit in the world goes to Queen and she does great content as well. That said, what I said on there is I wasn't really shocked because he had a great season last year. He was one of the best shooters and he was not Tibbs was asked the question directly as is Fournier the front runner. So sometimes coaches and a lot of people when they're being interviewed do parrot those questions back. You know what I mean? It's habit. It's almost like being kind of forced the words unless you're very adamant of the contrary. But anyway, the point is it makes it very easy to kind of say that. So if you think about it in the way that he said it, makes sense. I do think that Fournier's spot is up for grabs on the performance side of things, as well as Fournier played. We all know that he's not a great defender. I do think the excuses that he used, I know excuses are a weak answer, but you get the point. When he said that when he first came to the Knicks last year, first couple of months, he was just trying to find his role and figure that out. I think some blame can be laid at the feet of Tibbs there that he had to figure that out and the coach couldn't relay it to him. And if you don't want to put it on Tibbs, you could put it on the assistant coaches, you could put it on Randall, you could put it on a lot of players, you could put it on him. But the fact that he was searching for his role, he was like, I got to figure this out on offense, defense, I'll figure it out later. The other guys are really good defenders. Not great, but I get the logic. And he did have some good spurts defensively in the second half of the season, ironically, when he was shooting the ball really well. My only qualm when it comes to Fournier in general is he's hot or cold, and it can happen in the same damn game. Kind of like J.R. Smith was, if you guys remember, especially what J.R. was, his shot selection was so trash sometimes, but then the baskets would go in. So you're like, oh, okay, JR is hot. Fournier can be like that too, except his stuff isn't off the dribble. It's more catch and shoot. Um, so when he's having an off game, I just want Tibbs to pull him. That's all. If he's 0 for 4, 0 for 5 coming into the game, use that hook that you like to use on Obi. Go grab that hook that the Sandman uses at the Apollo. Grab that. Womp womp. And bring in Grimes or bring in my boy Cam Reddish. I'm gonna be honest on this channel. Y'all know Cam's my guy, so I'm looking out for the kid. I want to see what's going on over there because he's a baller. Y'all, we'll see. We'll see this year. Anyway, so that's what I kind of wanted to say about Fournier and all of that stuff. I wouldn't take that to the grave that this is what's going to happen, and things can change as the season goes on because Tibbs, for better or for worse, he is a rhythm coach, seemingly. He's stubborn as hell, But if he gets his back forced to the wall, so to speak, and has to start using players and there's an injury or something like that, and he finds out he likes this player after they've got extended minutes, then he'll keep him in there for as long as that player is hot. That's kind of what happened with Grimes last year because of the COVID and all that other stuff. And he was like, oh, well, this kid's pretty good. I like the way he defends. All right. That's just from the eye test here. But moving on. The next headline or storyline, so to speak, because it is kind of a storyline. It's a little bit like it's basketball soap opera, but it's fun, right? Um, I'm gonna go with the Quentin Grimes one here. So Quentin Grimes was in a walking boot for a few days and he didn't practice. I think he practiced today from what I saw from one of our beat writers. We have a few, so I'm sorry I don't remember which particular beat writer it was. And then Fournier, I believe on Thursday, had some general soreness and was given the day off. Now, personally speaking, y'all know how I feel about Cam. I already talked about it. I don't want any player to be hurt or anything, but this is a time for Cam to show up and show out. The contract year, a huge contract year, and just an important year in his career, in his formative years. Year 4 is important for all NBA players. It's just it determines who you're going to be in the NBA. You can change after year 4, but year 4 seemingly is the jump year. If you don't jump in year 4, it's tough to really shake what your reputation has become. So it's a big year for the kid. And to that point, I'll focus on Grimes here because I'm going to come back to Cam. Grimes coming into training camp with this is very interesting. I don't want to call Grimes injury prone because he hasn't necessarily proven to be, but I think it's something to watch. We know about the subluxation of the knee injury that he had. That one was a freak damn injury, and we all thought he did something way worse than hurt his, than break his kneecap or whatever the subluxation ideal with the kneecap was. I thought he tore his ACL, MCL, just something real serious. So I'm glad it wasn't that bad. However, he also had an injury a little earlier on last year. So it's just something to watch. People give Cam a lot of foolishness about his injuries. I just want us to notice what other players have them too that are young. That's all. That said, I'm a big fan of Grimes. I like his game. I like what we saw in summer camp. And summer league and all that, especially being the best player. It's a different game when you're the best player on a team. All the defensive pressure is on you. And he was trying to play make for others. So I think that some people are dismissive a bit of what we did see in summer league. I'm not going to use a lot of hyperbole with it. I just think we have a nice happy medium, and at least on this team, he's not going to be asked to do all the things he was doing in summer league, but it's good for him to have that in the bag. So once you're kind of, you know, decided to be, or your reputation is you're a 3-and-D player, they're like, okay, well, we're going to crowd him on the 3-point line and rush him off there. Him being able to drive the basket and use his handle to make plays for himself and others will be huge. So still really high on the kid and excited, but just wanted to mention that Grimes has that injury. We don't know how long this is going to last. They did say he did practice today. Um, so we'll see. Maybe he plays in the preseason game on Tuesday. Maybe they give him another day off and want him to play the next game, which I believe is on Friday. So something to pay attention to storyline wise. Again, I support all the players on the Knicks, all of them. Even with my concerns with Randall and all that, I am still a fan of this team and I want us to win. Even if my favorite players aren't getting minutes, I'm just going to be concerned. So more on that. Talking about one of my favorite players now, Cam Reddish. His interview, I liked it a lot. It was encouraging. Just some sound bites that I kind of took down. One of the quotes he had was 100% healthy, available, committed. I like that. Now I'm fighting for a spot. It's competition. Who doesn't love competition? I'm not worried. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm in the NBA. I'm playing for the New York Knicks. I'm happy. I can't stress that enough. And then he reiterated he didn't ask for a trade and all. And I'm not going to go over the whole story. I'm sure you've heard it by now. He didn't ask for the trade. Berman put out that weird article. Um, saying that he would like a trade and all of that, even though I see Berman has trying to go out there on Twitter and on other social media platforms on YouTube saying, I didn't say he asked for a trade. You implied it really hard. And on his birthday of all things. You couldn't hold that a day. That said, it is what it is. Berman is a beat writer. He's paid to write these stories. Hopefully he enjoys his retirement. But he's probably going to go to another syndication on the beat anyway. But we'll see. Unless it's been announced and I haven't been told today. I feel like that would have been all over Knicks Twitter, and I've been on it today and I haven't seen that. So if y'all have heard that, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know if Berman got picked up by somebody else. That that said, sorry for the tangent, y'all. I do that. um, they asked him what did Cam work on during the off season. I like this too. He said he worked on his shot creation, his handles, shooting from all over the floor, the mid range, his 3 pointers, shooting off the dribble, and he also put in some work in the weight room. All right, so my main takeaway from this interview was just his confidence. If you heard him in the manner of which he was speaking, he sounded like he's got it all here. He understands where he's at in his career. He understands what he needs to do now. Whether that came from his parents, whether that came from his agent, I don't care. He looks dialed in, he looks ready, and he realizes that there's a challenge in front of him. He's not the starter right now. He has to take the minutes from somebody else. And if I'm Cam, and from what I kind of gathered from him, I think he knows he's better than those guys. He is talented as hell. It is all here and just being healthy. We know what he can do. We know he's a versatile defender. We know he has a 7 foot wingspan. We know that he does have he already had a nice handle. Now he's a better handle, per what he said. We'll see it in the preseason. We know that he's versatile. We know that he can shoot from all 3 levels. We know that he can play make when the ball is in his hands. We know he can shoot off the dribble already. His catch and shoot isn't awesome. It's something he needs to work on. So maybe that efficiency there is what he was kind of going after. The whole point is we know he can do those things. We need to see the consistency. We need to see him do it every night. We need to see him stay healthy. Sometimes injuries are just a luck thing. I'm hoping that the added weight and muscle that he's put in the weight room and the added attention in the weight room is going to really help the kid. Um, I don't think that was something that he focused on coming into the NBA. And again, I'm a football head. Everybody knows this. I'm NFL before Knicks or New York Jets before Knicks, but I love both sports. But it seems that sometimes it's a situation where there's a lot of injury prone players in the NFL who turn it around a lot of the time. It's a new attention to whether it's their diet and the way that they lift or just they finally get the right trainer. Maybe that's what's going to happen with Cam. I know I'm skewing positive here, but why not? It's the off season. When the hell else are we supposed to be positive, right? Just saying. Um anyway, you could kind of tell again from the interview that he had a chip on his shoulder. You could just not in a mean way, it's just like that quiet confidence. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. But that said, he has to ball out in camp. And considering that Grimes had that injury and Fournier has a day off, that means that Cam's getting work right now. He's getting work. He's probably gotten some, maybe a starter a minute or two. Maybe. They might have had quick start. We don't know. And God forbid, New York, our actual Twitter, our official Twitter, the New York Knicks Twitter handle has been a little reticent to show us any scrimmage tape and all that good stuff. I think it's because they know that the cyber sleuths, as what's been stated by like Begley and all that cat and all those cats out there, that we're looking. I think our fan base is very our sense of urgency is heightened in New York, and we got our binoculars. We want to see who's playing. We want to see who's got the starter jersey on, who's got the backup jersey, who's the third string. We looking at all of that. So I think they're just scared to let us know. Because even in some of the scrimmage tape that they were showing early, well, not really even scrimmage stuff, but just like working out stuff, they didn't show Cam and Grimes too much. I think that's by design. So It's unfortunate. They know we care, so they're just going to slow that down and not show it. Knicks PR people aren't stupid. So it's unfortunate, but anyway, we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm saying that Cam has an opportunity here that he cannot let pass. He needs the ball out in camp. He needs the ball out in the preseason. I am so excited to see what he does come Tuesday and the rest of these damn games. I hope this kid stays healthy. Wow. It's going to be fun to see. Um, Moving on to the next headline, so I don't talk about Cam for the rest of the video, because you know, guys, that I will do that if I can. And I had to talk about this for a little bit, even though I'm not super keen on it. Obi Toppin and Julius Randle, that pairing not really being embraced by Thibs. The quote, I want to do a Thibs voice, which y'all know is going to sound bad. It's not only the numbers. I actually watch the games. It's based on performance and who fits together. It's not fantasy basketball. It's what makes the group work best. I'm Thibs. Sorry, I couldn't help it. He watches the games. He told us this last year. He watches the games 4 times, and Knicks fans don't need to be talking unless we watch the game as many times as he does. Well, we watch the game. We pay to see these games, so I think we have a say in what goes on. That said, Tibbs just kind of comes across as stubborn and condescending. I don't hate the guy. I just don't love all the practices that he has. I think all coaches have weaknesses, and I think that any coach that the Knicks have, we will pick apart. We're that kind of fan base. It's the love of the game that makes us care this much. It's the lack of winning that makes us care this much. So we just don't trust anybody as a head coach. I think we could have Steve Kerr as the head coach and we would disagree with his practices. I guarantee we would. We would. And that's not shade at us. It's just realisticness. It's logic. We've been hurt before. Same thing as a Jets fan. We've been hurt before, so we don't trust anything we're seeing or we're hearing from coaches. Salah could say the sky is blue. We're gonna say it's red. Tibbs could say the sky is blue, and we're gonna say it's red. Same, literally the same thing. It's just a lack of trust from the fans because of what we're seeing. Not mad at us. This is just what it is. That said, Tibbs sounds stubborn and condescending, and I don't love it. That said, he also said that he didn't like the numbers either. Because at first he said, at first he said, you could tell by the numbers that it wasn't working out very well. And then the next day, after some Knicks fans kind of brought to attention, the numbers actually were pretty good when those two played. He said, well, it isn't just that. You look at the numbers and then you look at you watch the game after that and you kind of take this together and you make your decision after that and you use what time of the game that they're playing, all that stuff. All that said, I'm not in love with the pairing either. I think the reason we as Knicks fans want to see it is because we want Obi to get more minutes. That's really what the crux of all of this is. And I agree with you guys that are worried that Obi's not going to get a lot of minutes. The path is just not really there. He's just a 4. Can he play some spot minutes at the 3? Maybe. Can Randall play some spot minutes at the 3? With him having lost weight, I think he could probably play a few minutes. We're not going to see this a lot anyway. I don't think Randall's going to play center, and I really wish we could see 5-4. I think Randall could do it for a few minutes, but it is what it is, guys. That's just kind of how I feel on that. And if the Knicks are winning, maybe we don't have to see those two play together. If Mitch takes a step, I don't think we're going to be worrying so much about seeing Obi and Randall play together. Just in my opinion. Next thing, Isaiah Hartenstein said a lot. I just kind of went on this last quote for him. He said that most Knicks have been working out together for a month prior to camp. And then they asked him, did he get the chance to develop chemistry? And they said that they have with most of the players during these workouts. They played regularly. He played plenty of minutes with Jalen Brunson already, quickly, and Obi Toppin. I'm encouraged by that. I mean, I'm just I know maybe, I'm being a little bit of a homer, but I just love to hear that kind of stuff. They're starting early. I know Jalen Brunson said interview with the old man in a three, that's JJ Redick's podcast, he said that he wanted to get some minutes in with them early. And the fact that they've already done that, these guys have been playing for a while already. That's just really encouraging. Um, Quickly is always working. Like if you guys have seen that commercial with a Hujmanzada that not Hujmanzada, wrong dude. Oh my God, the safety for Pittsburgh all those years. This is gonna really bother me now because I can't think of his name. Anyway, the dude with the long hair, great safety, very impressive. I just cannot think of his name right now. That said, him, and then he's on in the commercial with Mahomes, and it's never not working. That's the quote that he uses in those commercials. That's how I see Quickly. Quickly is getting run right now at 2:20 in the morning where I'm recording this for you guys. He is running right now, shooting baskets, working on his handle, working on his floater, um, and just getting those buckets up. That's just that kid. So the fact that he's working with those guys didn't surprise me. It was just seeing that all of them are working on it, working on their games. It's just encouraging. I love that. The camaraderie seems apparent with this team. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to say it again. They like each other. That's a big key. It's not small potatoes. And the last thing that I'm gonna just kind of fixate on so I don't go too long on this video is Tibbs said, I can tell you those guys will have major roles. So he said that in regards to Grimes and the other young players on this team. This is the one thing I'm going to be a little negative on. I don't believe that. And that's not shade at anybody or anything. I don't think he's lying. It's just where are these minutes going to come? And what is a major role? Does a major role mean 20 minutes? I don't think that's going to be available to any of our players. I don't think we're going to see 20 minutes. Um, so that's kind of a concern to me. If we're winning, cool. If we're not, I want them to have bigger roles. I don't want to see, and I'm worried about this player right now is Quickly. I just talked about that kid and how he's never not working on his game. I want to see the fruits of his labor manifest in minutes on the floor. I want him to get fourth quarter minutes. We discussed on Dope Soul not too long ago who's going to be in that closing lineup. And a lot of us are thinking the same thing that it's going to be Derrick Rose, Brunson, RJ, Randall, and probably Hartenstein, maybe depending on how Mitch is playing, depending on his free throw shooting, depending on whether he fouled out or whatever have you, depending on matchup. The player I didn't mention was Quick. I would like him to get 20 minutes, but I mean, I'm not trying to be selfish as a fan. Again, I understand why we want wins, especially Tibbs right now. I won't say he's on the hot seat, but the seat is lukewarm right now. And it could easily turn up. We know how we are as fans and that heat that we'll put on them. We just want to win. But we also would like to see our young players that we love to get those minutes too in crunch time. So I think that's something to watch, and I'm just a little worried about it personally. I think when he says young players, I'm like, you're just talking about RJ and Mitch? They're gonna have, of course, they're gonna have major roles. I mean, what veteran small forward you gonna put in there instead of RJ? Right? It's not there. It doesn't exist. Um, so you guys kind of get where I'm coming from on that. I'm just a little worried. Um, and then one last storyline, and then I'm really done. Even though I said the other one was the last one, because it kind of bleeds in together. Rose, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has come into shape and come into camp in incredible shape. He's lost 20 pounds. He says this is the uh, lowest weight he's been since he was a rookie, and he looks great. Personally speaking, I watched him when the Knicks played Charlotte in March last year or this year, I guess, and he looked good just practicing, shooting around. Um, I was impressed. First time ever watching Derek, so I can only imagine if he looked good there, he must look even better now. And just kind of hearing from Tibbs, I don't have the quote up right now, just how encouraged he is about how Rose looks and how Rose is going to have a big role. I didn't think that was happening going into the season. A, I thought he'd be traded, or B, he would just be to quote to quote Queen. I liked when she says this that he would be damn, now I can't think of the word. Uh, I'm gonna say circumstantial, but that's not the word that she uses. That we would see him in specific situations. And now that we're kind of seeing and hearing that, Derek sounds like he wants to play and he's very fine with playing big minutes. And with him being in this kind of shape, I don't know if Tibbs is going to have the restraint to not play him. So I'm encouraged by Rose because Rose is, I mean, he's another coach on the floor. He makes players better. Team loves him. All those things. I mean, I like that the way he creates for others. He still has a quick first step, even at his age and all the injuries he's gone through. But I wonder how he holds up. We'll see. Um, the good thing is we have depth if he were to get hurt or anything like that. So there's nothing to worry about in that aspect. But I would really like us to be careful in our usage of him. You know, it's kind of where I'm coming from on that. Big Derrick Rose fan. I have a Derrick Rose jersey, all that stuff. He's awesome, and it's been fun watching his career. One of my favorite players. Um, but I'm just worried, you know, just worried about that. But at the end of the day, if the Knicks win, that's the most important thing. But I just wanted to talk about that before I end the video. So maybe it's a little more of a sour note. So I will bring it back to let's go RJ. I'm excited as hell, guys. Preseason is right around the corner. We get to see. Feels like we've had a really long off season. All the Donovan Mitchell drama, I think, just really exacerbated it for fans. We just feel like we went through a nasty little divorce or just a lover's quarrel, whatever you want to call it. We didn't really get to just be at peace with our team for the few months that other teams really didn't have to engage in the foolishness we did. That said, it's all coming to an end. Week one of preseason starts Tuesday, and then a couple more weeks, the next season starts. Yes, this is exciting. I can't wait to see what we do as a franchise, and I am encouraged overall, even though I have a few concerns. I think we're all entitled to concerns as fans, especially Knicks fans. That said, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Thanks for your patience and waiting for Knicks content from me and dealing with my Jets videos, but I got to be excited. I'm excited for this Jets W tomorrow, hopefully. But we'll see what happens. Yet again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff. You guys have a great one. Peace.